Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. New York Bred Stakes Day at Saratoga on Friday. 3 on tap. We'll start with race number 3, the John Morrissey Handicap. $125,000 is the purse. We're going 3/4 of a mile, and we'll take a look at this field and talk about a class drop. New York Traffic, the number 6, just ran against Jackie's Warrior. What was that, 13 days ago? And considering that Jackie's Warrior is the best sprinter in the country, he ran pretty well.
Yeah, they tried a grade 1 with this horse last time, a pretty big step up in class. Obviously, he was never going to win. Even the second, third finishers of that race are pretty good. New York Traffic, he ran fine considering the competition he was in against there. Obviously, this is a better spot, and his connections come back quickly to try to win it.
Yeah, it draws a nice outside post position with tactical speed. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Newly blinkered number 2. What do you think now can be forwardly placed? I think St. Selby just has to go under a very aggressive rider like Kendrick Carmouche. I think what do you think now? Might take a seat and let St. Selby go. He's pretty fast, though. What do you think now?
Yeah. St. Selby's fast as well from the rail. What do you think now? I mean, it feels like if he's going to run, one of his good races here, it's going to be right up on the pace. That's really his best running style, Dan. He's a fast horse. He likes to be involved early. Off the layoff last time at Parks, he did not show any speed at all. I guess that's why the blinkers are going on.
We've seen Rob Atras do very good work with dirt sprinters in the past. St. Selby is a head away from being a perfect 5 for 5 on dirt. He scored last time out on July the 1st, a race we're going to show you right now. Kendrick Carmouche was aggressive with him. He went right to the lead. He opened up on the turn. He opens up a commanding lead at the 3/16 pole, and he wins very easily. He's paired up 92 buyers in his last 2 races, and he's lightly raced enough that he still retains upside.
Yeah, all those things are true. This is a pretty significant step up in class for this horse, but he's run well in all of his dirt starts. You mentioned he's a head away from being undefeated. He, probably was best the day that he lost too. That was a very strongly run race with a fast pace, and they just got him at the end. I don't know, Dan. He ran well last time. He ran well two back, a race that was, contested early, but there were just no closers for some reason. I don't know. I don't really have a knock on this horse, but it does feel like this is, pretty clearly the toughest test to date for him.
So what do you think we're going to get from the number 2? What do you think now? Is it going to be the horse that popped 2 triple-digit buyer speed figures back-to-back at Aqueduct, including winning the Holly Hughes with devastating ease? Or are we going to get the horse that returned off a long layoff last time out at Parks and just didn't show that kind of speed? Now, he was facing a very sharp horse. For the Love of Bourbon's won 4 of his last 5 races, bounced out of that start to win an allowance with a 90 buyer. Beaten favorite in this race last year, albeit over a sloppy track.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question that you posed at the Open, is the key to the race, in my opinion, because if you get the good, what do you think now? I just think he's going to win this race. But, he came off that layoff at Parks last time, and he really just wasn't sharp at all, which is a real concern. I can't say that I love them putting blinkers on him either, Dan, as he's now a 5-year-old. And, Rudy's just suffered through a nightmare meet so far. It feels like none of his horses, he's had a few run better in the last week or so, but he still can't get one to the winner's circle.
The number 3, Listen to Your Heart, I think, is a sleeper in here for Christophe Clement and Joel Rosario. He came off almost a year layoff to post a likable score and a second-level New York bred allowance going 7 on May 14th. Were you surprised that they were aggressive with this horse last time out? He got involved in a little bit of a pace dispute, stretching out for the first time, and he tired. I like him cutting back in distance, and I think he rates off the pace this time.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I would say I was surprised they got aggressive with him. I was a little surprised they stretched him out, I guess. And maybe I was a little surprised that he just didn't run that well in that race because, even though he was part of the pace early, so was the runner up in there, who was a much bigger price, and Market Alert, who wound up winning the race, actually made an early move to join those horses. So it's not like he had some big excuse, except that probably he just doesn't want to go that far. The cutback works for him. He better improve by a lot, though, if he's going to beat this field.
The number 4, My Boy Tate, has hit the board in this race the last 2 years. He's banked over $700,000, but he's going to come into this race off a little bit of a layoff. They tried him in the Haynesfield going a 1-turn mile, and while he's okay at a 1-turn mile, he won the Haynesfield back in 2021. He's a better sprinter, in my opinion, and he has plenty of back races that indicate he could win a race like this.
Yeah, very dangerous horse in this race. The last time we saw him in the Haynesfield, it wasn't, his best performance, and I suppose that's why he got a little time off after that race. But his Holly Hughes was good. He had no chance with What Do You Think Now, who was super sharp that day, but he ran well in there. He ran well in the State Florida Standy prior to that, a race that he won and was disqualified, but he was clearly best in that race. I don't know. He's just a horse that you have to take his chances very seriously. And I wonder what kind of price he's going to be.
The 5 Reggae Music Man zipped through his New York bred conditions over the winter at Aqueduct, but has been well beaten in 2 of his last 3 starts. New York Traffic handled him in the affirmed success. We saw St. Selby run away from him last time out in an allowance race. He has to step forward.
He does. I mean, he's been in really good form. He's just in pretty tough against a field like this one. His last 2 races aren't great, but prior to that, through this winter and spring, the horse was in really good form. So I'm not surprised they're giving him shots in races like this.
New York Traffic again drops out of the Vanderbilt, a race where Jackie's Warrior was just dominant over that field. He tried his best. He finished a solid 4th. His prior race was against some good open company at Penn National, a race in which it looked like he was on his way to win, and it looked like perhaps he started idling a bit. Barron is a very good horse for Butch Reed. He came right back and made New York Traffic sweat for a brief instant, and then New York Traffic asserted his class late. He's just the horse to beat.
Yeah, I think he is too. He drew well on the outside. I really liked that win too back at Penn National because you're right. That Barron's a pretty nice horse, and he really did make New York Traffic work for it. But New York Traffic also won that race pretty easily. I mean, I like that performance. That was his 4th win in a row sprinting. Included in that streak is the affirmed success in the Hudson against New York breds. These are tougher New York breds, but this horse fits right in.
Top pick time for 1 of 3 New York bred stakes races at the Spa on Friday, the John Morrissey. We're both going with New York Traffic in here. Hate to chalk out, but we have the same super.
Yeah, I'm just going to take him down because I can't convince myself to put What Do You Think Now on top. Again, I think What Do You Think Now is going to win if he runs his good race. I just don't really trust him to run it.
It'll be interesting to see if What Do You Think Now and the 1 St. Selby get involved in a little pace warfare. New York Traffic, he's the horse to beat dropping in class. 6214 for both of us in the Morrissey. Good luck.